It was a rainy evening, the kind of evening when the roads shine with water and car headlights reflect like broken glass. Armin was driving home after a long shift at the electronics store. His eyes were tired, and the slow sound of rain hitting the windshield made him even sleepier. He just wanted to reach home, change into dry clothes, and drink some hot tea. But fate had other plans. As he drove through a quiet road on the edge of the city, he noticed something strange ahead. A small car was parked on the side, half covered in shadows. The hazard lights were blinking, and a woman stood near it, holding her arms tight around her body. She looked cold, wet, and scared. Armand slowed down and rolled down his window slightly. "Need help?" The woman looked up. Her eyes were wide and unsure. She hesitated, then nodded. "Flat tire," she said softly. "I don't know how to change it." Armin parked his car behind hers and got out. Rain soaked his jacket in seconds, but he didn't care. Something about the woman's face made him stop. She looked lost, like someone who had seen too much. "Do you have a spare?" he asked. She nodded and quickly opened the trunk. Armin found the tools inside, dropped to his knees, and began working. The road was quiet, the sound of rain mixing with the soft clicks of the tools. The woman stood silently near him. She didn't speak much. Only once did she say, "Thank you." Most people just drive past. Armand smiled. Maybe most people forget that it costs nothing to help. She looked at him, as if trying to remember his face. Her eyes held a strange mix of fear and sadness. He wanted to ask her more why she was alone in such a place, where she was heading, but something told him not to. In 10 minutes. The job was done. He stood up, wiping his wet hands on his jeans. "You're good to go," he said. She gave him a soft smile. "You're kind." Before Armand could reply, she got into her car and drove off, disappearing into the rain. He stood there, for a second, confused. No name, no proper goodbye, just those two words, "You're kind." He got back in his car and continued driving home, but the image of her face stayed in his mind. Something didn't feel right. Maybe it was her silence, or the way she looked at him, or the way she left so quickly. That night, Armand lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and the rain outside continued like a quiet warning. The next morning, Armand woke up to find something strange. A paper was stuck under his windshield wiper. It wasn't wet, even though it had rained all night. Someone had placed it there recently. He opened it. There was only one line written on it. "You shouldn't have helped her." Armand's heart jumped. His eyes scanned the street, but it was quiet, no one in sight. He looked around again and again. Nothing, just the sound of birds and the faint hum of the city waking up. He rushed back into the house and locked the door. Who had left the note? And why? His mind went back to the woman. She didn't even tell him her name. Did someone follow her? Did someone see him helping her? He tried to shake off the feeling and went to work. But all day, he couldn't focus. Every time someone looked at him for too long, he wondered if they knew something. Every time his phone buzzed, he jumped. That evening, things got even stranger. As he returned home, he noticed a car parked across the street. It was black, with tinted windows. It wasn't there in the morning, and it didn't belong to any neighbor. He walked past it slowly, pretending not to notice, but he could feel eyes watching him from behind the glass. Once inside, he peered through his curtain. The car stayed there, not moving, not leaving, for hours. Finally, around midnight, it drove off. No sound, no lights. Armand didn't sleep that night. The next morning he checked his car again. This time, there was no note. But something worse. A small red dot was marked on the hood of his car, like a warning, like a sign. That's when he knew this wasn't random. Helping that woman? It had started something big. He picked up his phone and dialed his friend Faison, a tech guy who always knew how to dig into strange things. "Bro, I think I'm in trouble," Armin said. "What happened?" Faison asked. "I helped a woman fix her tire. That's it. But now, I'm being followed." Faison laughed, thinking it was a joke, but Armand's voice was serious. "Meet me tomorrow," Faison said. "We'll talk." As Armand hung up, he looked out the window again. The street was empty, but the fear inside him had only grown. He didn't know who the woman really was. He didn't know what she had done, but he was sure of one thing now. Those 10 minutes of kindness were about to change his life forever. Armand couldn't sleep again that night. He kept staring at the ceiling, the image of the red dot on his car flashing in his mind like a warning light. The silence in the house was loud. Every creak, every gust of wind outside, made his heart jump. He had always lived a normal, quiet life. Work, home, dinner, sleep. But now, something had shifted. Something dark had entered that quiet space. Early the next morning, Armand drove to Faison's place. It was a small tech shop, tucked between two cafes on a busy street. Faison was already waiting, sipping tea and scrolling through his laptop. He looked up and noticed Armand's face pale, tired, nervous. "You really look like you've seen a ghost," Faison joked. Armand didn't smile. "I'm not joking, Faze." He told him everything from helping the strange woman with the flat tire, to the note, to the car outside his house, to the red dot on his car. Faison leaned back, his face turning serious. "That's not normal. And you're sure she didn't tell you anything? No name? No hint?" Armand shook his head. Nothing. Just that her tire was flat. I helped her. She thanked me, left. That's it. Faison paused. Okay, let's start small. Give me the license plate of the black car you saw. I didn't get it. The windows were too dark. It drove off quietly. Faison sighed. All right, let's try something else. He asked Armand to hand over his phone. Armand hesitated but finally gave it. Faison connected it to his laptop and started scanning it for tracking apps, hidden software, anything unusual. Within seconds, Faison frowned. There's something here, he said. What do you mean? Armand asked, leaning closer. There's a hidden app installed. It's disguised as a weather widget, but it's actually a location tracker. Someone installed this to watch your movements. Armand froze. What? How did it get there? Could have been installed physically. Maybe when they broke into your house? Or maybe it was already there before you noticed. Faison removed the app and added a few security tools. Your phone should be clean now, but you need to be careful. Someone is watching you closely. Armand nodded, trying to stay calm. I just don't understand why. Why me? Faison looked thoughtful. Maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's about her. That idea hit Armand hard. He barely knew her, didn't even know her name. But whatever trouble she was in it had reached him now. Later that day, Armand returned home and kept the curtains closed. He didn't go outside. He just sat, thinking. Around 5 p.m., his doorbell rang out. His heart skipped. He approached slowly, checking through the PEEPHOLE. It was a courier guy. Armand opened the door. Delivery for Armand Khan. The man said, Didn't order anything. Armand replied. The man shrugged. I just deliver, sir. He handed him a brown envelope and left. Armand closed the door quickly and locked it. He opened the envelope with shaking hands. Inside was a small USB drive and a note. The note read, If you're reading this, they've already found me. Don't trust anyone, not even the police. What's inside will explain everything. Use it carefully. They'll come for you now. The note wasn't signed. Armand stared at the USB drive. He plugged it into an old laptop he hadn't used in months. As soon as the screen lit up, a video started playing. It was the same woman, the one he had helped. She was sitting in a dark room, looking tired, scared. My name is Zara, she said. I used to work for a private intelligence firm that collects data. We were told it was legal, ethical, for national safety. But it wasn't. They were spying on people. High officials, businessmen, activists, anyone who could be used or silenced. She paused, eyes watering. I found something I shouldn't have. Files, transactions, proof. When I tried to report it, they erased my identity. They started hunting me. I've been hiding ever since. She looked directly into the camera. If you're the man who helped me with my tire, thank you. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. I had no choice. They saw me talking to you. Now you're in it too. Zara picked up a flash drive and showed it. This drive has the names, the money, the plans. It's encrypted. The password is your name, reversed. The screen went black. Armand's hands trembled. He checked the files on the USB. They were all locked. Coded .FIZAN. He was the only one who could help. Armand rushed back to Faison's shop. Faiz, I need you to see this now. Faison opened the files. Tried the password Netmra. It worked. Files. Opened like a storm. PDFs, images, emails, spreadsheets. Everything pointed to one company name. Zycorp. Faison looked at Armand. Stunned. Bro, this is huge. This isn't small stuff. This is national level spying. Armand felt sick. What do we do? Faison thought for a moment. We can't go to the police. Not yet. We don't know who's involved. We need someone outside. Someone who's clean. Then Faison's eyes lit up. I know a guy. Saad Malik. Journalist. Tough guy. Exposed a minister once. Let me call him. They set up a meeting for the next day, but just as Armand left Faison's shop, he noticed something terrifying. Across the road, that same black car, parked again. Watching this time. The window rolled down slightly. A man inside looked straight at Armand. Then smiled. Armand stood frozen on the sidewalk. The man in the black car still staring at him through the slightly lowered window. That cold smile didn't fade. It stayed on the stranger's face like a warning carved into stone. Armand's heartbeat picked up. His hands felt cold, but his forehead was damp with sweat. He quickly turned and walked away, not running but fast enough to show he was afraid. He didn't look back until he reached the corner of the street. The car was gone, vanished like it had never been there. Armand pulled out his phone and tried calling Faison, but there was no signal. He restarted his phone twice, but the signal didn't return until he got home. The moment he stepped inside, he locked the door, shut all the windows, and sat on the couch, heart still pounding. He knew now, without a doubt, whoever these people were, they were watching him closely, and they wanted him to know it. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat near the window with the lights off, watching the street. Every car, every noise made him tense. His phone buzzed, twice. Both were unknown numbers. He didn't answer either. The next morning, Faison called. Bro, where'd you go last night? I tried calling. I saw the car again, Armand said quietly. Same one. A man inside it this time. He smiled at me like he knows me. Faison. Voice turned serious. Then we have no time. Saad agreed to meet us today. I'm sending you the address. Don't bring your phone. Use a different route. And don't talk to anyone. Armand didn't question him. He packed the USB drive in his pocket, took a spare hoodie, and left his phone behind. He took public transport, switched buses twice, then walked to the last stretch. The meeting place was a quiet tea house at the edge of a busy market. It looked ordinary old tables, the smell of cardamom in the air, a few retired men reading newspapers. But in the far corner, sitting alone with a laptop, was a man who looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. That was Saad Malik. He stood when Arman approached. "You're the guy who helped her, aren't you?" Saad said, shaking his hand firmly. Nodded. "I didn't even know her name at the time." Saad motioned him to sit. Faison joined them minutes later. They kept their voices low. Arman slid the USB across the table. "She gave this to me. Her name's Era. She said she used to work for some intelligence group. She tried to expose them, and now she's running for her life. And now, I think I am too." Saad plugged the drive into his laptop and typed the password. The files loaded. He scrolled through them silently, eyes widening with each click. "This is not just internal spying," he whispered. "This includes judges, journalists, even foreign names. Some of these people are high up. If this goes out, it'll shake the whole country." Arman leaned in. "Then do it. Tell the world." Saad looked at him. "It's not that easy. People like these have power. If I publish this raw, they'll call it fake, or worse, they'll target the platform. We need to verify it, link it to real stories, make it undeniable. That'll take time," Faison added. "How much time?" "Like, few days. Maybe less if I get help." Arman rubbed his face. "I don't think we have days." Saad shut the laptop. "All right, I'll start tonight. But listen, if they're following you, you need to disappear. Go underground. I can't just vanish." Arman replied. Saad stood. "You can if you want to live. These people don't send warnings twice." As they prepared to leave, Saad handed Arman a small pager-like device. "Press this if anything happens. It pings my secure server. I'll know immediately." They left in different directions. Arman avoided the main roads, took a longer route back, and constantly checked. Over his shoulder, when he finally reached home, everything looked normal. The same neighbor watering his plants, the same kids playing cricket in the alley. But when Arman opened his door, he felt it. The air inside wasn't right. The faint smell of cologne, that wasn't his. A slipper out of place. The remote control moved. Someone had been here. Or maybe they still were. He slowly stepped in and locked the door behind him. His eyes scanned every corner. He picked up a kitchen knife just in case. Then suddenly a voice behind him. "Don't turn around." He froze. It was a woman's voice. "I'm not here to hurt you," she said. I didn't know where else to go. Arman turned slowly. Zara. Wet hair, torn clothes, eyes full of panic. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "I've been running," she whispered. "They almost got me in the last safe house. I saw your name in the files. I realized I put you in danger." Arman stared at her, still trying to process. "Why didn't you tell me who you were that night?" "I didn't think I'd live long enough for it to matter." She collapsed on the couch, shaking. "I have nothing left," she whispered. "They've erased me, my ID, my bank accounts, even my apartment. I don't exist." Arman sat across from her. "But you still have the truth, and we're trying to get it out." Zara looked at him with tired hope. "Then maybe there's a chance?" Before they could speak further, Arman's doorbell rang. He looked at Zara. Her face turned white. "They found me," she whispered. He rushed to the window. Outside, the black car was back, and this time, there were two men standing beside it. One of them looked up and pointed straight at Arman's window. Arman's heart raced as he stepped back from the window. The man had pointed directly at him. There was no doubt. They knew he was inside. And now Zara was here too, in plain sight. Every second felt heavier. Every sound from outside made his chest tighten. He turned to Zara. "We need to move now." Zara stood slowly, her body weak from exhaustion. "They won't wait long. Once they're sure I'm here, they'll break in." Arman quickly gathered his wallet, a spare phone, and the emergency pager Saad had given him. He pressed the button. One sharp beep confirmed the signal had been sent. Saad would know. Hopefully, help would come, but they couldn't wait. He grabbed Zara's hand. Back door? They rushed through the kitchen, slipping quietly into the narrow back alley. Arman closed the door gently behind them. The cold air stung his face. He peeked around the corner. Two black SUVs now parked on the street. The second man had joined the first. Both were walking toward his front door. He and Zara ducked and moved down the alley, staying low. Every step felt like walking through a nightmare. Zara's breath was sharp and uneven. Arman could feel the fear in her grip. After 5 tense minutes, they emerged onto a side street. A small taxi stand was nearby. Arman waved to the first one he saw. "Station Road," he told the driver. "Fast." They got in and shut the door just as the two men appeared from the alley behind them, turning their heads sharply as the taxi pulled off. The driver glanced at them through the rearview mirror. "Everything okay?" Arman forced a smile. "Yeah, just ... bad timing." They didn't speak for the rest of the ride. Zara leaned against the window, her face pale. Armand could see she was close to breaking down at the station. They got out and walked into the crowd. Armand spotted a locker room near the restrooms. He led her inside and locked the door behind them. "We'll wait here," he said. "Saad will get the alert. He'll come." Zara slid down the wall and hugged her knees. "I've been running for months, changing names, hiding in shelters. I thought I was getting close to ending it. Then I saw your name in the system." Armand looked at her. "Why my name?" "Because after I left that night, they checked every camera nearby. Street cams, gas stations. They saw your face, ran it through a search, and found you. Why not come back sooner? I didn't want to drag you in deeper, but when I realized they might hurt you just for helping, I couldn't hide anymore." Armand nodded slowly. "You did the right thing." A knock on the locker room door made them both jump. Armand reached into his jacket, gripping a small pocket knife, his only defense. "Who is it?" he called. A familiar voice answered. "Open up, it's Saad." Armand opened the door quickly. Saad stepped in, slightly out of breath, with Faison behind him. "You pressed the alert," Saad said. "What happened?" "They came to my house," Armand replied. "They saw me, and they saw her." Saad turned to Zara. "You're lucky. They don't usually give second chances." He handed Armand a small envelope. "New IDs, fake names. One, for both of you. We're moving you out of the city, for now." Zara stood, her legs shaking. "How long do we have?" "An hour," Saad said. "But we need to talk first." They sat on the station bench while Saad pulled out a tablet. "Been digging into the files? This Zycorp, they're not just collecting data. They're selling it. Blackmail, manipulation, control, politicians, military officers, foreign diplomats, they've got their claws in everything." Armand leaned forward. "Then let's go public." "I am," Saad said. "But I need more than names. I need the story. Your story. The girl who risked her life? The man who helped the ones who tried to kill you." He turned to Zara. "I want you to speak. On camera." Zara looked stunned. "That's suicide." "I'll blur your face. Change your voice. But it has to. Be real. People need to hear you. They need to feel the truth." Zara's eyes filled with fear, but also with purpose. She glanced at Armand, who gave a small nod of encouragement. "All right," she said. "I'll do it." Saad smiled. "Good. The world needs to see what happens when you stand up to monsters." That evening, in a safe apartment 2 towns away, Saad recorded the interview. Zara spoke slowly, telling everything from her first day at Zycorp to the day she tried to leak the files. She spoke of the threats, the men who chased her, the silence of law enforcement. She spoke of the night she met Armand, and how one act of kindness changed everything when the interview ended. Saad turned off the camera. "That," he said softly, "is going to shake this country." Saad didn't waste a second. He grabbed the laptop, shoved it into his backpack, and motioned for the others to follow. "Backstairs," he said sharply. Armand held Zara's hand and led her toward the narrow hallway. Faison stayed behind, just long enough to erase the camera's memory card and smash the hard drive with a heavy bookend. By the time they reached the emergency exit, they could hear tires screeching outside. Heavy boots pounded up the front steps. The back stairwell was cold and dark. Each step echoed like thunder. They moved quickly, hearts racing, breaths short dot at the ground floor. Saad pushed open the door and peeked into the alley. "Empty. Go. Now," he whispered. They slipped out one by one, staying low against the walls. Zara clutched the flash drive to her chest like it was a part of her soul. Armand stayed close, glancing over his shoulder every few seconds. They moved down the alley and cut through a garbage yard, the smell burning their noses. A fence stood at the back 6 feet high, covered in rust. Faizan climbed first and helped the others up and over. Just as Zara landed, they heard shouting. Behind them, the back door of the safe house burst open. A man in black saw them and shouted something into a walkie-talkie. "Run," Saad yelled. They took off down a side road, disappearing into the chaos of a crowded night market. Music played, people laughed, street vendors called out to customers. It was the perfect place to vanish, but only if they moved fast. Fairfan pulled out a burner phone and made a quick call. "We need the tunnel," he said into the line. The reply was short. 10 minutes, Westgate. They ran through the market, weaving between stalls and crowds. Armand's shirt was soaked in sweat, but he didn't slow down. He could feel the chase tightening. Every second counted. At the edge of the market, a man stood near a motorcycle repair shop, pretending to fix a tire. He glanced up when he saw them and gave a small nod. He led them through a metal gate into a garage and then down a hidden stairwell behind a shelf of tires. The tunnel was narrow, damp, and smelled like old cement. A single light bulb hung overhead. The man locked the door behind them. "Follow this path for 10 minutes, he whispered. "You'll come out near the old bridge. A car will be waiting." Armand thanked him with a nod. They walked quickly through the tunnel, shoes splashing in shallow puddles. Zara was breathing heavily, her face pale. Armand touched her shoulder. "We're almost there." At the end of the tunnel, a rusted ladder led up to a trapdoor. Saad climbed first and opened it slowly. The night was quiet. He climbed out and waved. They followed one by one. The bridge stood just ahead, and beneath it, an old black van idled with its lights off. The driver, a young woman in a baseball cap, opened the side door. "Get in." They all piled in, and the van pulled off without a sound. Within minutes they were on a quiet country road, far from the city. Everyone sat in silence. The weight of the last hour was heavy on their shoulders. Faison broke the silence first. "We're not safe yet, but we've bought time." Saad turned to Zara. "The video, it's all backed up now. I sent it to 5 journalists. If something happens to us, it still goes out." Zara nodded. "Then we've already won." Arman looked at her. "Do you really believe that?" She gave him a faint smile. "They tried to silence me for months, but now, my voice is out there. Even if I disappear tomorrow, the truth won't." They drove through the night and stopped at a farmhouse on the edge of a village. It belonged to one of Saad's old contacts, a retired schoolteacher who owed him a favor. The man didn't ask questions, just gave them food, blankets, and a room to sleep. For the first time in days, they felt a moment of peace. That night, Arman and Zara sat on the roof of the farmhouse, looking up at the stars. "I never asked," Arman said softly. "Why did you try to expose them?" Zara stared at the sky for a long time before replying. "My brother," she said. "He was a journalist. He found out about Zycorp's secret operations. He tried to leak it. They made it look like an accident, a fire in his apartment. I joined the company after that. I wanted to know who did it, and then I found everything." Arman was silent. His heart ached for her. "I'm sorry. I thought I could live with the truth buried," she whispered. "But the truth doesn't stay buried. It finds a way out. It uses people like you." Arman looked at her. "People like me? People who stop to help?" she said, smiling sadly. Downstairs, Faison and Saad were going through the next steps: new routes, new plans, secure drop zones for more data. They knew this wasn't over. The names on the files would soon know they had been exposed, and when that happened, things could turn violent again. But now, for the first time, they had control, and the truth at dawn. Arman woke to a loud knock. On the front door, everyone jumped awake. The old teacher walked to the window, peeked out, then smiled. "It's safe," he said. "Someone sent you breakfast." Confused, Arman stepped outside. A basket sat on the porch. Inside it, warm bread, boiled eggs, and a folded note. He opened it. 3 words were written in neat, sharp handwriting. "We are watching." His smile disappeared. The message was clear. This wasn't over. Arman stared at the note in his hand. The morning sun casting long shadows across the porch. The words "we are watching" felt like a blade pressed lightly to his throat, gentle but deadly. He looked around the quiet fields, the trees, the stillness. There was no one in sight, but he knew someone had been close. Close enough to drop the basket. Close enough to remind him that even out here, far from the city, far from the chaos, they were not safe. He went back inside, face tight, and handed the note to Saad. Saad read it, then crumpled it in his fist. "They're playing mind games now," he muttered. "They know they've been exposed, and now they're trying to scare us back into silence." Faison took the note and scanned it with a device. No fingerprints, nothing. These people are professionals. Zara stood by the window, her arms crossed tightly. "This is what they do. Push you until you give up or disappear. But not this time." Arman looked at her, surprised by the strength in her voice. The fear hadn't left her, but it was different now, controlled, focused. Saad sat down and pulled out his laptop. "No, we're here. We have 2 choices. 1, we disappear again, or 2, we hit back before they do." "Hit back how?" Arman asked. "I've been talking to a whistleblower protection group overseas. If we can get Zara across the border, they can offer her safety and a platform to speak publicly, live, on camera, worldwide." Zara shook her head. "They won't let me cross. My name is flagged at every checkpoint." "Not if you're not Zara anymore," Faison said with a small grin. "I spent the night creating something, a new identity. Passport, travel, history, everything. You're now Mariam Zubair, a journalist traveling for a documentary on agriculture." Saad added, "It's risky, but if you make it, your testimony won't just go to 5 journalists, it'll reach millions. And once that happens, they'll have no place to hide." Arman looked at her. "You don't have to do this alone." Zara met his eyes. "I won't, but you can't come with me. If anything happens to me, someone needs to stay back, someone they won't expect." He wanted to argue, but he understood. Faison pointed to a map. "There's a checkpoint near the old Balak highway. Weak surveillance. We'll get you close, but the rest you'll have to do yourself." The next night, under a moonless sky, they set out in an old white Jeep. Zara sat in the back seat, hair dyed, a scarf around her head, wearing thick glasses and local clothes. She looked nothing like herself. Arman sat beside her, hands tight on his knees. No one spoke during the drive. Every passing car, every turn, every shadow felt dangerous. At a bend near the checkpoint, they stopped. A small stream ran alongside the road. Beyond it, freedom. "This is where you walk," Faison whispered. 500 meters straight, there'll be a guide waiting." Zara nodded and turned to Arman. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" he asked. "For not driving past that night. For fixing the tire. For everything after." He took her hand gently. You don't owe me thanks. Just promise you'll stay safe. She nodded, then slipped into the darkness, her figure vanishing like smoke among the trees. Armand stood watching long after she was gone. Suddenly a sharp light flashed from behind. Move. Saad shouted. 3 bikes were approaching. In black jackets, no license plates, guns visible. Armand jumped into the jeep, and they sped off. Bullets cracked through the silence, one shattering the back window. Faison drove like a madman, weaving between rough tracks and broken fences. They finally lost the bikes near a dried-out canal. The jeep stalled, and all 3 jumped out, hiding in the tall grass. Heavy footsteps came near. Voices. Then, silence. They stayed frozen for 20 minutes. Eventually, the footsteps faded. Saad whispered they were after her. Not us. If she made it across, she's safe now. Armin's heart was pounding. He didn't know if it was from the chase or from the fact that Zara was gone. Maybe forever. 2 days passed. They moved to a different city, changed hotels every night. Saad monitored every news outlet, every whistleblower site. Then, finally it happened. On a major international news network, a teaser appeared. A brave woman risks everything to expose one of the most dangerous corporate secrets in South Asia. Her story airs live tomorrow night. Armin, Faison, and Saad watched the trailer in silence. Zara was alive, and she had made it. The next night, the world changed. Zara appeared on the screen, her face blurred, her voice altered, but her story was crystal clear. She talked about the company, the data. The morning after Zara's story aired, the world felt different, but only for a moment. News channels buzzed with headlines. Whistleblower exposes secret surveillance empire. Social media exploded with her name, even though no one knew her real face. Protests began to grow in cities, demanding action, justice, accountability. The Zycorp logo, once seen in quiet corners of tech and finance, had become a symbol of fear. But as Armin watched it all unfold from a dark motel room, far from home, he felt no victory. Instead, he felt watched. Faison closed the curtains tighter. I don't like this, he said. It's too quiet out there. Saad sat by the bed, his laptop open, his eyes glued to news feeds. The world knows now, he said. But that doesn't mean the danger's gone. The people who built this kind of system, they won't let it fall so easily. Armin kept checking his phone, but there was no message from Zara, no sign, no update. He didn't expect her to risk contact, but the silence hurt. He missed her voice, her courage. Then Saad's screen lit up, a new message, encrypted. From Zara. He opened it quickly. They're not stopping, they're regrouping. Someone inside your circle is feeding them information. Trust no one. Go dark. 3 short sentences, but enough to send a chill through the room. Faison stood up. Wait, inside our circle? You think someone here? No, Armand said quickly. It can't be. Saad's eyes narrowed. We've all been careful, but she wouldn't lie. Someone, somewhere, knows our moves before we make them. Armand felt like the floor was shifting under him. They had escaped. They had fought. They had exposed the truth. But now, they were still targets, and worse. Someone close to them was helping the enemy. That night they packed up again. New hotel, new fake IDs. They left behind everything. Phones, laptops, cards. They traveled in silence. At the next safe house, a tiny apartment above a locked bakery, Armand sat by the window, thinking. His mind kept circling back. The cameras, the tracking app on his phone, the black car, the note on the windshield. Every move they made, someone knew. Then something clicked. The morning after Zara escaped, their van had broken down. And yet, they still made it out. Unless someone wanted them to. Armin turned to Faison. Who gave us that van? Faison blinked. A guy from Saad's contact list. Junaid works as a fixer. Do you trust him? Faison frowned. Saad vouched for him. Armand looked at Saad. Did you? Saad was quiet. I said I'd used him once, years ago. A cold silence fell over the room. We need to find him, Armand said. Saad nodded, and fast. The next day they tracked down Junaid. He ran a repair shop in the old city, mostly phones and vehicles. When they arrived, he acted calm, too calm. Faison kept him busy with small talk, pretending they needed a car fixed. Meanwhile, Armand slipped into the back office. A quick search through drawers revealed something that froze his blood. A small notebook with initials, dates, and one page that read, Zara escaped through Old Balak route. Confirmed by inside source. Target, ARMAN. He walked out slowly, notebook in hand. Junaid's smile faded when he saw it. Saad stepped forward. Why? Junaid's voice was low. I didn't give names, I just confirmed routes. That's all they wanted. They? Armand asked. The men in suits, Junaid said. They paid well, said it was national security. I didn't know she was telling the truth. You knew, Armand said quietly. You just didn't care. Junaid looked nervous now. You're not going to do anything crazy, right? Faison smiled, but his eyes were cold. Don't worry, you'll live, but your shop won't. Later that night, Saad sent a full report to the whistleblower network. Junaid's name, the notes, the contacts, the betrayal. But by then, Armand knew something else. The next move was coming, and it would be brutal. The warning came at 3 a.m., a message on a secure line. From an anonymous tip, safe house compromised. Get out in 30 minutes or less. They didn't wait. They grabbed everything, moved fast. No light, no noise. They slipped out the back, down a metal fire escape, and ran through narrow streets. But they were too late. Halfway down the alley, headlights flashed, a van blocked the exit. 3 men stepped out, no words. Just weapons. Arman grabbed Zara's flash drive from Saad's backpack and ran. Faison tackled one of the men. Saad pulled a small stun grenade from his coat and threw it. Light exploded in the alley, buying them seconds. Arman jumped over a fence, landing hard on the other side. His leg twisted, but he didn't stop. The flash drive was all that mattered now. He heard Faison shouting behind him. Then a gunshot. 1, 2. He didn't turn back. He ran down the street, through trash bins, over a broken wall. He didn't stop until he reached a train station. He paid cash, boarded a cargo car, and hid behind crates. Hours passed. He didn't cry, not when he left his friends, not when he remembered the sound of gunfire, not even when the train moved and took him further from the only people who stood with him. He only held the flash drive tighter. That was all that was left. And hope. Because as long as the truth lived, so did their fight. The train rattled forward through the night, each wheel grinding against the tracks like a ticking clock. Arman sat in silence, hidden behind stacked crates, clutching the flash drive to his chest. His heart felt heavy. Faison Saad. He didn't know if they were alive. The last he'd heard were gunshots, then silence. He wanted to go back, but there was no going back now. The truth was in his hands, and the world needed to see it. At dawn, the train slowed near a rural freight station. Arman slipped off quietly, blending into the early morning mist. He made his way through the quiet village, stopping only to buy bread and water with the last of his cash. He kept his head low, his hoodie up, eyes scanning every face. Every step he took felt like walking a tightrope between freedom and death. 2 days passed. Arman moved from village to village, changing buses, walking miles, sleeping in abandoned buildings. He reached the home of an old friend of Saad, ex-reporter named Usman, who now ran a tiny bookstore in a border town. Arman didn't have to explain much. Usman had seen the news. He opened his door without questions and led Arman to a back room hidden behind shelves of dusty novels. You can stay here, Usman said, locking the room from the inside. But only for a night. Word is spreading. They're hunting you now. Arman, your face is everywhere blacklisted, framed for attacks, even murder. They've turned you into the villain. Arman nodded slowly. He wasn't surprised. It was the oldest trick in the book, turn the truth-teller into the criminal. I need to upload the final piece, he said. This flash drive. It's not just files. It's the backup of Zara's interview. The full version. Her real voice? Her real face? She wanted the world to see her. Usman hesitated. If you post this, they'll stop playing games. They'll come for you. Hard. Arman looked up, tired but certain. Then let them come. But first, let them hear her. Usman handed him an old laptop, stripped of GPS and internet history. Arman plugged in the flash drive, copied the files, and prepared a post. The video showed Zara blurred, unedited, her voice steady. She told everything. The surveillance, the deaths, the people behind it, and in the final minute, she looked straight into the camera and said, if you're watching this, I didn't make it, but I'm not afraid, because truth doesn't die, it multiplies. Arman uploaded the video to 3 international networks, secure platforms, and cloud backups. Within 20 minutes, it had been downloaded over 100,000 times. Within an hour, 1 million. News outlets picked it up. Social media exploded. Zara had become a symbol. But with the explosion came the fire. That night, Usman shook Arman awake. They found us. We need to leave now. Arman didn't hesitate. He grabbed the drive and followed Usman into the street. But as they reached the back alley, headlights appeared from both ends. Black SUVs. Men with earpieces stepped out, surrounding them. One of them spoke into a radio. Target secured. Usman stepped forward. He's just a boy, a gun, but knocked him down. They dragged Arman forward. No trial, no arrest, no rights, just silence. They drove him deep into the mountains, far from cities and people. They threw him into a cold room with no windows, no food, no explanations. Hours passed, then days. They came only once, with a voice recorder and a threat. Say it was fake. Say you made it up. Arman looked up, weak but steady. No, they beat him, left him bruised and bleeding, but he didn't break, because by now, it was too late. The world had seen the truth. Protests spread to capitals. International organizations launched investigations. The video reached students, mothers, judges, even people within the very agencies trying to silence it. A few brave insiders began to speak. Some vanished, others went public. Zara's name became a rallying cry. So did Arman's in a university. In Lahore, students painted a mural of Zara, her hand raised, mouth open, speaking truth. Beside her, a boy holding a flash drive stood tall. One night, weeks after his capture, Arman was dragged from his cell and brought into a dark room. Inside stood a man in a clean suit. No name, no badge, You've made quite the mess, the man said. Armand didn't answer. But it's over now, he continued. You've had your 15 minutes. You'll disappear, and the world will forget. Armand looked up. Blood dried on his lip. They won't forget her. The man smirked. They forget everything eventually. Then a voice echoed from behind. Not this time. The suited man turned. Stunned. Zara stood at the door. Alive. Real. Eyes blazing. Behind her were 2 armed guards. Not the ones who had captured Armand. These were different. International agents, diplomats,